She really was known as the Queen of Romance with those royal connections. And now you too could live like the Queen of Romance. Who are we talking about? Of course, the wonderful, oh yes, pretty in pink, Dame Barbara Cartland. Now, her former home has come up for sale. It's just about £1 million, so it's small change, isn't it, for you and me? What I liked about Dame Barbara Cartland, and I met her once very briefly, it was very strange, in fact. It was in the late 90s, and she was doing some sort of promotion, you know, and she had all these lights around her, and she looked marvellous, actually, big, a little bit eccentric, but then we like people a bit eccentric, don't we? We all are, really, I think. We've all got our own idiosyncrasies, as they say. What do you mean you haven't? Of course you have. We all now stop lying, we all have. What's interesting though with Barbara Cartland, she had 723 novels, and then she left even more manuscripts that were never completed or never published, and her son has now pushed forward and they're coming out as ebooks. And apparently she's so popular in India that they're all being translated into Bangladeshi too. Can you imagine what she would have thought of that? It's incredible, isn't it, when you think? And Barbara Cartland, of course, had wonderful royal connections because her daughter Rain then married, of course, the father of the late and wonderful Princess Diana, and it was well documented that they didn't get on, but they did make up in later life. I also met Rain Spencer, in fact. I know it sounds like, oh, you know, yes, you know everybody, Neil. No, it's true. You know, I would never tell you that's not true. What was interesting was I was working for the Harrods owner, Mohammed Al Fayed, at the time. He had a radio station. A lot of people may remember this, and it was just across the road from Harrods. And Rain Spencer, sadly after the death of Johnny Spencer, had taken a job as an ambassador at Harrods, and she frequently came in, and yes, that hair was as rock hard as you could imagine, right? Wonderful lady though, full of the sort of joys of life, you know, took everything in her stride, saw every day as a fresh day, as a fresh challenge. And Mohammed and her were an odd couple when you think about it in many respects, but she was a great comfort to him because obviously, let's not forget, he lost his son too, Dodi Al Fayed, in that terrible crash. So of course, you know, for her to reach out was a very nice thing for her to do. As I say, you know, you meet these people throughout life and people say, oh, did you get a picture? There are pictures somewhere, but you know, you have to remember, in that period, we didn't wander around with phones taking pictures all the time that you did. It would have seemed odd to ask certain people at that period, oh, can I have a picture? They'd be thinking, why do you want a picture? A little bit odd in itself. Include if you have a very spare £1 million, that's right, I'm sure we all have out there, complete with a British Blue Heritage plaque, newly awarded by the British Plaque Society. River Cottage in Great Barford, Bedfordshire, was the writer's home from 1941 to 1949. Explain, when you have a blue plaque on there, not only does it become more interesting, more fascinating, because everybody wants to look at places, as I've shown you here on the channel, where other people have lived. I think it's marvellous myself. But if you are a fan of Dame Barbara, and as I say, you've got a cool £1 million to spare, or perhaps you've just won the lottery as we're talking, it can happen, as they say, it could be you, then why not invest in some real royal historical, well, structure, history if you like. And for those that haven't checked out Dame Barbara Cartland's life story, do have a look. She did make quite a few TV movies, not her personally, but a company did make some TV movies in the late 90s as well. She never truly stopped being an innovator. She was a leading powerhouse of a woman, and a lot of people liked and loved her work. As she said, her books were pure, fun, and of course, everybody ended up happily ever after. Neil Shawn in the very heart of London.